Hi folks, today we're here demonstrating how to install your Board Possum. If you purchased it from us online, you received a pack of hardware here, including the drill bit that you will need to install it. Perhaps, we hope you don't have to drill no holes in your binding, but if you do, there it is, and it's the same size as these holes. And if I was to find that I could line up, what you're trying to do is line two of these holes up with two existing holes on your binding, or two existing bolts you could probably remove and replace on your binding. And you may have to bore those out a little wider, or one of them would line up, and the reason for this dial so you can rotate it around, and on a lot of different applications you can get it to hit most of the time without drilling. But if it lined up with one hole and not the other, you could come in here and drill a secondary hole with the bit provided. Another option, if they don't line up, is this little bracket we've attached here. You could attach it, and if you get your possum to a bolt like down here at this hole, and then it won't reach another hole, advantageously you can move this by attaching it. It's hard for me to demonstrate, but it rotates, and you can find the point that it will attach to one of the holes in the mounting brace for the possum. Okay, but on this one here, this is a Forum, and just at first glance I see that there is a hole here we could put a bolt through, and there seems to be one up here at the top that I think we can get. If we fold that down a little bit, we can get a smaller bolt perhaps to work through there. Yeah, and I hope these will be the right width. So I'm going to start with the bottom one. I'm going to take the longer bolt that we have provided, and something I should mention is, where the leash comes out the top, you want that to be top dead center the best you can. If it's off a couple degrees to the forward, that's not bad. A couple degrees to the back, that's okay too. But when you mount this, you want it to be straight up as possible. You have to attach it to the front binding to get the most benefit out of it. It needs to be to the inside of the front binding to get the most lift, to take 100% of the weight off your knee provided by the possum. It has to be mounted to the inside of the front binding. If your binding or something is going to happen to get in the way, like if it ratchets from this side, which some bindings do, we provided these spacers here. So once you find your point, you can space it out further so it won't interfere with your ratcheting mechanism of your strap for your boot. Alright, back to what I was saying. I'm going to find a low point here. That's not going to work, so we'll have to rotate around here a little bit. That seems to be close. Back here at the back. Now we're going to try to rotate it around to where we find a hole at the back that'll fit through there. Okay, that seems to be pretty straight up and down. So start your nut onto the bolt. You should then have you a couple wrenches that fit your bolt. I've already laid them here, and a Phillips screwdriver is good to have around too, because most of these bindings have Phillips screws on them if you need to remove one to replace it. Let me get the other tap here. We're going to try to install it down here. Okay, once you get them started, you take your wrenches and start tightening them up. Those are nylon locking nuts, so they should not come loose. Takes a little extra time to get them on there, but they're worth it. As you can see, everything's still working fine here. Everything still works the way it should. Well, the difference is, you get on a lift now, and you have the 15 pounds from your board, your boot, and your bindings. It's not killing your knee because this little device is going to hold it onto the safety bar. One more thing I should mention, if you have trouble finding a second hole and you can only get to one, we found, especially if it's near the bottom, that one bolt's usually significantly enough to hold the weight of everything. It's not going to break off or have any trouble. And the second bolt is to keep it from rotating, just keep it locked. If you can find one spot to mount it and you get a good secure bolt and you want to take one of these zip ties, and I have several people I noticed done this, you just find a secondary place. You don't even have to find a hole. Just, you know, like if I was bolted to the back and I was going to use something, I done used all the spots on this one. Right here. I could go around this, through that hole, or some other part that you see that you can take advantage of, and simply attach a zip tie to it. I would double them if I was going to go that route. It's obviously not the best way. To have both bolts in it is the best way, but it is an option you can consider. That's the reason we provide them with the kit. I hope this helps you out. If you have any questions, you can log on to the website and submit your question. We'd be happy to get back to you. And we're going to do a couple more videos showing other bindings, and maybe one of them will help you out. Have a great day, folks.